Hello, hello.
Hello.
So this is the first episode that we are shooting, and you're already late.
I mean, I'm from Delhi.
Yeah, Bangalore
So,
traffic.
yeah.
Okay, so today we already have an agenda. It feels like that meme. Have you seen where
कौन सा वाला?
that girl shows up with his father, with her father, and
Yeah,
says
yeah,
that this is the agenda of his
or a
hangout.
hang.
But
So
yeah,
what all is it? Are we letting the people know our agenda, or are we just gonna roll with it and
let's see.
इनको पता चलेगा?
I think we should just roll with it.
ठीक है. आपने हमारा piece पढ़ा आज?
Yeah, so I read your experience economy, the thesis on experience economy, but
Yes.
I would like to understand what went.
So I think like thesis is a maybe I don't like using that word because I don't like when VC say we have theses. This is more मतलब exploration है. Because I don't know if a lot of whatever the experience economy is necessarily venture fundable. But I guess like the broader theme around experiences is that last couple of years, last year and this year, there's been a lot of live events. So we got Coldplay, Diljit, Karan Aujla, Dua Lipa, yada yada
Who's
yada
Karan
yada.
Aujla?
You don't know Karan Aujla?
No.
He's also a Punjabi rapper.
कोई गाना बताओ.
उसने गोट लिखा था.
That's Diljit song.
हाँ, but वो lyricist भी होता था. अब मेरे को गाने का नाम नहीं पता उसका,
Okay,
but he's
got
big
Okay,
Punjabi
some
artist.
guy,
Yeah. But now we kind of got into this place where people in India are paying thousands of rupees to go to live experiences. Last several years, say people have been stuck at home. We're very lonely. People aren't going out, so this is kind of like a good catalyst to get people to get out of the house and do things. Like I guess, did any of your friends or did you go to any of these concerts over the last couple of months?
Not concert specifically, but I think I've been going to more stand-up comedy
अच्छा ठीक है
shows.
ठीक है.
I guess that falls into the same
yeah
bucket.
yeah.
But yeah,
But वो तो काफी सालों से
yeah, I think,
चले जा रहा है.
but it was not possible at least 2022, 2022,
हाँ.
nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Or it was happening, it was like only 5 people allowed, 10 people allowed, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I've been going to those things. I've been going to play a lot, play like physical games and stuff. I've been going to a bunch of meetups.
Okay.
Because they were also not happening for
Yeah,
some reason.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it
So,
feels
I mean,
like
like,
energizing.
yeah, it does feel like kind of last 2 years people have been kind of or 2021, 2022 people are stuck at home and
Correct.
they kind of want to get out. Like we've also gotten to a point where at least the affluent class in India income levels are rising for those folks and people are tired of just spending on goods and services, and this is exactly what happened in the US kind of about a decade ago and led to all these pottery classes and spin classes and concerts kind of became really massive. So it feels like kind of we're at a similar moment like that in India. There's still a lot of challenges. I don't know if any of your friends went to any of the Jeet shows and told you what.
Yeah, my sister went. I think a couple of my friends also went.
Yeah. What was it? What did she talk? What was it?
She was like, it's fine, only just like another concert, nothing like. I mean, Diljit's
But like
presence was great.
Yeah.
But
did she talk about like any issues getting in and out or like?
Of course, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very slow. Like,
Acha.
pathetically slow. Like to
Okay.
get in.
Yeah.
Like they did not have enough gates, I guess. She went to Jaipur one.
Okay.
So I mean, might have been a Jaipur issue, but I think he had a problem in Chandigarh.
Yeah. I think like across the board it seems like infrastructure in India isn't there to support events at these scales at a level where people will kind of have fun.
I went to the Trevor Noah show in Bangalore, which got cancelled.
Great point.
Yeah, I mean, I took like a cab for about 2.5 hours in Bangalore traffic, peak Bangalore traffic. I reached there.
Yeah.
He comes out and he's like, "Oh, nobody can hear." He's like, "Only the rich people can hear because only the people in the front could hear." And then he's like, the rich people are like, let's continue.
Yeah.
And the poor people like, we can't
Hear
hear,
anything.
we can't hear. Like there was a chant
Yeah.
going on. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he was also furious, I think, with maybe Book
The
My
state,
Show or
yeah.
whoever was the
Yeah, we
organizer.
gotta cut that out in case we're gonna
Yeah.
but yeah, so like facilities in India are not up to the par where people who are spending like 20,000 rupees on a like normal ticket are gonna have a good time. And this is where like
But
at least
what have you seen in US
so
for
yeah
20 for that kind of money, I
yeah
guess?
like for 20,000 rupees I saw Above and Beyond is a house. I don't know how to describe what the genre is, but like US facilities tend to be fairly good because like essentially the state and city governments have funded the football stadiums and other performing arenas over the years because they're used for sports every day, every week. And then they're also used by performing artists when they go on massive tours. So, kind of the public transport infrastructure, the Uber pickup, drop up zones, the actual gates of the arena, and like how easy it is to get in and out, and being able to host like 30, 40,000 people at an event several nights in a week is fairly common now. And I don't think
Several nights in a week.
yeah, because in for example in LA, you'll have the Lakers playing at Staples Center. You might have one artist in town playing a show that same week. So then you'll have like multiple events of varying
It's like
sizes.
I guess IPL,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah, yeah.
right?
But like think about
Chinnaswamy is small, but
yeah,
like
yeah,
the Ahmedabad stadium is
yeah.
pretty big.
But think about like IPL happening and like for example, like Diljit playing at Kantiviram Stadium the next day after, or whatever, Chinnaswamy Stadium.
That's
And the
football.
football, yeah. But like the next day after RCB plays, I don't know if we would
I
have
mean,
been able to.
branding will still be there. RCB, I think they take
Huh,
the
but
branding for
yeah,
about the whole season.
yeah. But
But
like
yeah,
if they have people sitting on the ground, they're not gonna be able to
but I
turn it
don't
around.
think cricket grounds are like
ठीक
conducive
है,
for
fair enough, fair enough. But
like
even if it's at Kantiviram Stadium, like which is a much smaller stadium, but I don't think they'd be able to turn around the facilities too much.
this Coldplay is happening in Gujarat, right? Like Ahmedabad,
Yeah,
it's happening in that stadium,
yeah, the Narendra
correct?
Modi,
Narendra Modi Stadium.
yeah.
Hmm. So I
But will
guess
there
if
be at least like I mean I feel like when the Cricket World Cup final happened, like
yeah,
there's a lot of people complaining it was not
yeah.
very
So
easy
they
to
only
get.
had two gates open
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah.
and
And
like
like I think the stadium's great, but everything around the stadium doesn't seem like it's equipped to handle
yeah,
the traffic. So we will see.
that has been a problem with a lot of things in India.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the surrounding things are not there.
yeah. And that's what you kind of need for like a great
Hmm.
experience. But kind of like leaving alone the live event side, I think there's a lot of other things happening in um whatever the experience economy. I think in the West at least we have like a massive concert and live event culture, but there's also kind of a large presence of activities and experiences you do where you as a consumer are participating in it. Like you are going to do something. Like I am going to go play pickleball, for example, or I am going to Top Golf to play golf with my friends and having a couple of drinks, or I'm going to Dave and Buster's to play arcade games and have a good Friday night, or I'm going to an art class to learn how to do pottery. And I think like in India, I think we are getting to a place where like folks now have money to spend on wanting to do things over the weekend which don't involve just drinking. And so maybe that's kind of like a catalyst where like we need experiences and events and things to do. And there are things like book clubs in Cubbon and
Correct.
Delhi Read Club, and we have Bhag Club for run clubs, and stuff like that. But I think we need like a much larger variety of fun things to do, and that's kind of what I think maybe is the opportunity here.
So how big do you think the opportunity is? Like, do you have a number in mind?
I have no
You don't
number.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, forget. Okay, so I as a 25-year-old,
Yeah.
I'm sold on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now how do I capitalize on this thing? Do you have
Well, I think if you're a 25-year-old, the one thing you could do is what a lot of my friends, or maybe like this is little younger than being 25, but very popular thing in colleges in the US would be to try to buy tickets to popular events and then flip them the day of the event going live.
got it?
I
So
don't know if this is a business, but this is like a
got it. So that's like reselling
yeah,
tickets,
yeah, yeah,
second-hand tickets.
yeah.
Yeah, I think India has been doing that since forever, at least in the movie space.
Okay,
They were
but I
like
guess like
tickets in black, that's
yeah,
the
but
concept.
can you make a lot of money on movie tickets or
I mean, you can make your house, I guess. I mean, you can make enough to like eat and stuff,
okay,
but
okay, 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 okay.
not
But
like
like
you can't throw cash
yeah, but like I mean like you're buying a ticket for like 100, 200 rupees and then you're selling it for like 4.
160, 200.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, but then I think the risk is pretty high there. What if you're not
yeah,
able to sell? Like, so
yeah,
for
but
example,
yeah,
the now there are like a bunch of people who are not able to sell their
well,
Coldplay tickets.
yeah, but I think this is what happens every single time with an event is like the best time to resell your ticket is right after the event has sold out.
Yeah, so I mean, this thing came up, but I think I had an interesting post that I read around this. There was a college kid, okay,
Okay.
little naive, I would say.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not gonna mention the person, but they said that concert tickets are the new IPO in India,
Okay.
and people just blasted him. Okay, but hear me out. I mean, I think the guy is onto something because it's like a listing game. Like, I mean, if you can just
Yeah, yeah,
get
exactly.
early and
Yeah,
you're able to snatch a ticket,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can probably sell it right after that
yeah,
for
yeah.
some amount of money. Like, I
But
mean, I know a couple of people who bought were able to get the Coldplay ticket and they resold for like at least three x of what they paid.
yeah, yeah. And when like, but that's like you have a very short window, and unlike an IPO, where then after the IPO, the business is hopefully valued on its fundamentals.
Yeah,
As you get closer to a concert, the tickets start dropping.
this is an IPO on steroids.
Yeah,
Like you have like maybe 10 days to
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
get rid of
I
your
don't even know
inventory.
of 10 days to be honest.
Yeah.
Because like I mean like I've seen this in the US. Like a bunch of my friends used to go to this music festival called Coachella, which is
Oh,
like one of
yeah.
the biggest music festivals, and like every year the tickets would sell out in like an hour of it going live. And Coachella is like interesting where they have like the show happening on 2 different weekends every April, I believe. And the closer you get to the date, you start seeing everyone in your college friend circles being like, "Oh, I can't go anymore. Do you want to buy my ticket?" And then like right after the tickets like sell out, like they go for maybe like 1.5x or maybe even 2x, and then by the time you're like a week away from Coachella, they're just trying to get like 75% or 100% of their money back at that point, and they're just kind of like, okay, will you just take 1 day of my ticket instead of taking all 3 days of it? But this is like not really like a business idea,
Business
so
idea, but
I'm not gonna tell.
yeah, it's a side hustle
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like
It's not
flipping
reliable.
shoes.
It's not something that you can scale out.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like at least in India, we still don't have like that many events, so you're kind of dependent on like after
Mm,
Coldplay. I don't know what's the next big
got it.
festival in India or what like
Mm,
concerts are happening in India after this.
hmm,
So
got it.
it's kind of dependent on that. But what would you tell a 25-year-old
So
to?
as you know, we already discussed the agenda, so I knew
Yeah.
this this thing is coming.
Really, I wonder what.
So I went and looked deep inside. So
Okay. By
my
deep inside, you mean you talked to your wife and asked her what she's doing?
correct. So yeah, my wife, as you know, is opening pickleball court.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so during before she decided on opening that, she met a bunch of people. I've tagged along with her just to see what's going on. So a bunch of them had a similar problem, which I think is something that maybe I don't know the time of it, but is a problem that is out there, and there is definitely some money to be made. Now, what's the problem, right? So, but do you know Unicommerce by any chance? I guess
Yes,
you know,
yes,
right?
yes,
Like,
yes.
so Unicommerce, what it does is, it takes inventory from place A and syncs it with place B or marketplace
And
B.
this is for e-commerce companies
This
or
is only
like,
for e-commerce
yes.
as of now. So it
So
takes
like, why don't you give a example of like who's a good Unicommerce customer, like a
any D2C, for example. I'm not really sure any of their customers. Let's say Nykaa, for example,
take.
right? Nykaa has some inventory of products. Now they need to sync that inventory on Amazon, on Flipkart, on Nykaa itself, right? And maybe if there was anything cred, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So what Unicommerce does is it creates a pipeline so that that syncing can happen in as real time as possible. Okay. Now that same problem is there for all these sports facilities or any place that sort of sells like a time slot, right?
So like if I have a pickleball court and I put it on like Huddle and
Correct.
whatever Kilo
So
and
there's Kalo More, there's Playo, there's
yeah,
Huddle. These are the three I know.
and then maybe you have your own website where you also
Correct. You have your own website. You might have
everything's
your own app. You
yeah,
might
like maybe you are Surbi and you have a husband who is a software engineer, so he builds
correct.
a
So
booking site.
you can also accept bookings on the phone, right? So or in person for the next days, whatever. So I found one person who basically was like a real time person for this.
Okay.
What they were doing was like they were just sitting with their phone there.
Yeah.
Whenever a notification came that something was booked, they would go and like book it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they would book the slot everywhere. And it's like the guy was paying him like 10 to 15K or something like
Okay.
that. I mean, not a big, huge amount of money,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Yeah.
if you think about it, like a software that can do this can probably fetch 5,000 rupees a month. I don't know.
But will that lead to unemployment in this country?
Of one person at least.
uh,
But I don't think that this
yeah, fair.
employment
No,
is
no.
fair. But yeah, I mean, so for example, that thing, right? You can probably build a connector like that, get APIs from everybody. There are like maybe 4 or 5 players max who
Yeah.
are doing that aggregation,
Yeah.
and then you need to build like an API layer for whatever in-house solutions people have. Get that integration done, and then go out and start selling to all these new places that are coming up. Like for example, pickleball courts are coming up, badminton courts. What are there
Football
that are there?
turf,
Football turf, cricket grounds, whatever.
paddles
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. So and it's going to be a bigger problem more and more because I think I don't think we are done with the booking apps, right? Playo and Huddle are there, which are like pretty big right now. But I think there will be more that will be coming, and also it solves a big problem for the place because they might have an unsold inventory that is not, let's say, being sold via just Playo, right? There might be a demand for it on Huddle, but right now the customer, the business can only decides on one of those
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
platforms. Now, because that is happening, they might be losing out some business. So, not just saving them money, time, whatever, you can actually tell them that, they actually can get some ROI out of it, and it becomes an easy sell in India.
Fair.
Uh,
Would you think the aggregators would get upset? Like, would like, or they're kind of like, oh, we're getting incremental revenue, so we're okay
I mean,
to
they might get upset, or they might start locking
their
the places with like an exclusive contract with a
yeah.
better deal.
Yeah.
That might be the case. I don't see them getting upset. They might block access to the API to the end customer. But
But
then
then you
if the
could
end
just
customer is, sorry, the end business,
yeah.
but if the end business is actually asking for
Yeah.
that API and
I guess like I get. Do you know like, given that you guys are now or she's now like starting this like, do the courts have a lot of power over the aggregators or what does the power dynamic
depends
kind of
on
look
city to
like?
city. So for example, in Playo,
Yeah.
uh, sorry, in Bangalore, Playo is like the bigger one. So Huddle is trying to give all the
Acha,
this
fair.
thing.
Yeah.
But in Delhi, it's the opposite because
Okay.
Huddle is bigger. So Playo is trying to give all the good things. I think as competition grows here, it will become like a thing where the the business will be like, I need this thing
Yeah. Yeah.
to be listed on your marketplace.
Yeah.
And I think that can be like a nice little business for somebody to run.
So
I
you're gonna be the first customer then?
100%.
Okay. Good.
I know at least 3 people who will be the
Okay, nice.
customer. So if you're building that, just
So okay, riffing off on that, why not Or another idea could be just like someone opening up a pickleball facility.
Correct. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
yeah.
mean, like you do need access to land, and you or like owning your own land
I
or
think you'll need
renting.
capital. So, like,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
so my wife is building a pickleball facility.
yeah.
That's why I know I've seen like this thing. It's not really easy to sort of get construction done in India. Your best bet is like you get some sort of warehouse that is already constructed, or an old, let's say, badminton court that's
Yep,
not being used,
yep.
and then you repurpose it for pickleball or whatever other sport that you want to sort of do. That is one opportunity for sure. And the way pickleball is growing, I think maybe next year onwards, like whatever supply we have right now will also get full. Plus, pickleball is like an easy to pick up sport,
Yeah,
easy to
yeah, and I
play
think
and
there's a
everything.
lot of demand for the sport. But like, I mean, hear me out. Like maybe in like, I mean, I need to go do the math on this. I just purely vibes based, but like maybe in smaller cities where pickleball has started to make noise and maybe there's not as many facilities, like the land and construction part is maybe fairly cheaper where you can kind of
It's not
be.
the cheaper thing, it's which is the problem. Because let's say if it's expensive in Bangalore, you get to charge more,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
but I mean you need more upfront
You
capital
need
and
more of it. But let's say if you're sitting in Bangalore and you open it in Jaipur, it
yeah.
becomes more hard to sort of make sure that that thing is happening the way you want.
But I mean,
Yeah,
like, if there's a like, 23-year-old in Jaipur who's like 20
definitely,
lakhs and they're like, oh, I want to go rent, and
yeah,
maybe like, I don't know about how much money you need, but like, they're able to rent
for sure,
like a plot of land and get stuff built out and get all their friends to tweet
for sure. I
about
mean,
it.
if you
And
can get like a warehouse
yeah,
in Jaipur, maybe it'll cost like 2 lakhs somewhere around that, where you can get like three courts. You can definitely make revenue of 5 lakhs around. You might have like a overhead of 1 lakh more. You can maybe make like 2 lakhs a month
not bad.
from that, like from an investment of maybe 20 lakhs. So you can get like an ROI complete in 1 year, which is pretty good.
Is it?
So yeah, I mean that's another thing probably that people can do.
Yeah, yeah,
But then like just coming back to like just the experiences,
yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
experience economy, right? There's one thing that I miss completely. I
Okay.
miss a lot. So there was when I was in Jaipur.
Yeah.
Even now, my parents are part of a couple of like kind of like a club,
Okay.
but it's more of a community rather than a club, where it's like a volunteer-driven community. So what they do is every month or every 2 months, they essentially book a complete hotel,
Okay.
like a
Okay.
big ass hotel,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a shadi wala.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah.
And then like maybe 300 or so families sort of gather there, and for that whole day they like play shit and like they do whatever, like they might perform or they do something, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it becomes like a community thing where people sort of come and play and come and have fun and whatever. And they have like a membership fees to cover all these costs and everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think they end up paying maybe, I don't know, I think 20-25K per quarter or something like
Not
that. I
bad.
don't know the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that thing is missing. So that thing works there because it's like a religious thing. And you get like an entry because you're like a Jain or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But
But
I
like I
think,
feel like like even like I mean like young people would want a place to hang out with other young people.
yes, young people, and not just young, I mean, at least 30s like me, right?
Okay.
You're not there, but
Yeah. Same.
I'm there. It's very hard for me to make friends now. Like, I don't have a
Yeah.
place where I'm regularly meeting people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
but nowhere else. And there is no third place for me,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Uh,
I have the exact same idea listed out, so I'm glad we're on the same page.
yeah. So, I mean, we don't have a third place where I can just show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to coordinate with, hey, Anmol aa raha hai kya, ye Nivedita aa rahi hai kya? Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
need to coordinate. I'll just show up. I know
And
there will be
okay.
5 people I know,
Yeah.
or at least 5 people I can
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
get to know.
And like I think it can't be just like a coffee shop is not like a
Yeah,
third
because
place.
the problem with coffee shop is it's not the same people you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to see the same people.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has to be like when you were young, you would go to play,
Go
right?
outside and you're saying you're the
You
same group of
at
friends that
least
you're.
80% people would be same,
Huh.
20% might be new, and you
Yeah.
sort of integrate them into
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
play
Yeah.
group or whatever.
So you're saying a members only club for
Correct.
Bangalore.
For yeah,
Or
whatever.
whatever.
For
Yeah,
30
yeah,
year
yeah,
olds.
yeah. I think for like, I think for any, it can be like age group specific, but it doesn't have to be like Like for example, I don't know if you've heard of like Soho House or Quorum.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I've
like
heard
it
of it.
they
I don't know exactly what it is.
so I mean Soho House. I think it started either in London or New York. I forget, but it was essentially
Oh,
like
I thought it's a Sobo thing.
no. Well, it's also in Bombay now.
Oh, I thought it like Soho because Sobo.
No, but it's not. It's in Juhu. Juhu is all the way up north.
Okay.
I don't think people from Soho go to
Okay.
Soho House.
My bad.
But
My bad.
but essentially, it I believe, and I can be wrong, but it started off as a place for creatives to have a third space and hang out. So like musicians or artists or other patrons of the arts,
And
and
would you need to like buy a membership?
you do need to buy a membership.
Got it.
So it's I know what it costs in India. I think it's about like 2 lakhs a year. So it's not very affordable, or like it's not for people making
Like struggling artists के लिए तो नहीं
हाँ बिल्कुल नहीं.
है.
But you kind of get access to that space, and they have like a restaurant and bar, and I know a lot of people just like enjoy going there and working, and like they see all the same.
I guess Indiranagar Club, Domnur Club, these are on the same lines.
Yes, yes,
Right?
but like I think that's kind of the old generation, like because Delhi also has the same thing where you have the Gymkhana Club, but like Gymkhana clubs for kind of like older folks, and now you can't really get a
Yeah, I mean,
membership there.
the last time I remember, I had a chat about the membership fees. They're like 46 lakhs or something. I was like, what the
Where?
fuck? Indiranagar or
Okay,
Kormangla
okay,
Club,
okay,
one of those
okay,
clubs.
okay. But we,
And then they have a
yeah,
wait list as well.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
people
I know.
are-
I think like Delhi Gymkhana Club has like a 30-year wait list or something.
yeah, there's Indiranagar one has like 16 years or
Oh,
something.
yeah, yeah. But so like Soho House, um, there is a different club in India now called the Quorum. So they have one in Delhi, one in Bombay, and then one in Hyderabad. And it's kind of like a members only club for professionals. So it's a little more like
Hmm.
business oriented. But I know basically like every single VC in Delhi hangs out there. They have one location in Gurgaon in the
Got it.
Two Horizon Center. But like I agree. I think like you can have like smaller version of these pop ups in Bangalore or Delhi, like
I
one in
think, I
Indiranagar,
think,
one in Koramangala.
yeah.
I don't know how large they need to be, and like how much you have to gate them versus like um what your membership looks like and stuff. But I like the idea, and like I know in the US there's been like I think both in New York and Chicago there's been like several new members only clubs that kind of came out last year. So I think there is some
Got it.
demand for it.
I think I'm already part of a club which is like, but I'm the only person there, which is the 12th main club.
Okay, but that's
That's my
walk,
third place. I
walking
just walk there.
walking up and down is not. Why
No,
don't
but
you
like,
take over one of the restaurants that goes out of
would you
business?
fund me?
I don't know if it is fundable, but well, I
How
mean,
do I get the
Quorum
money, bro?
Quorum is venture backed. I think
Huh?
Nikhil Kamath in one of his entities has
But I
backed.
think they also do venture stuff for non-venture things.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. I think the Leap Club is also venture backed,
Yes,
but
yes.
they do it for women.
Yeah, but and now
Uh,
they also have a physical location
In Bombay?
In Bombay.
Correct.
They pivoted from their online only community to also having a club. So
Yeah, so I guess if it can give a return, maybe it's a venture
yeah,
backable
yeah,
thing. I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, let me
but
tell you about one idea I have, which is also I think like a lot of these experience things. I feel like you need some amount of capital because like a lot of like experiences you need to do IRL.
don't tell me
And
fintech.
no. No, you need to do IRL, and you just need like space for it. So, I'm sure you've seen like in the last couple of, I guess maybe longer, last year, um, Bollywood's been like re-releasing a lot of movies. So you had like
Yeah.
Rockstar
Correct.
and recently Ye Jawani Hai
But why?
Diwani. Well, I think it's because like the new movies are just not very good. So
Yeah.
people still need to make money.
Hmm.
Cinema still need people going there, but
Hmm.
there seems to be like a big nostalgia factor behind like people.
Is it nostalgia or is it just they don't have good money, good movies to release?
I think it's both because I
Both.
think like
Got it.
millennials are like, oh, I want to see Shah Rukh Khan in a rom com. There's no
Yeah.
rom coms coming out. Like everyone's just making Animal and Baby John and all
Got
these
it.
like
Hmm.
like killer movies. But I think this is a thing across like a lot of US cities where you have these rooftop cinemas, or like kind of like these pop-up cinemas where like they'll get the rights to watch kind of like air a movie and then make like a cute little experience around going to watch that movie. So I watched Mean Girls in Chicago a couple of years ago on like this rooftop in a hotel, and maybe like it could be interesting for
Yeah,
a
it's like
big.
watching DDLJ at Maratha
Yeah,
Mandir.
yeah.
Got it.
So you like rent out a space, you get the rights to showcase the movie, you make like kind of like dress up the event space to look like DDLJ,
Hmm.
maybe have DDLJ themed food and drinks, and charge like 500 rupees a ticket,
Hmm.
and like make a couple of like Instagrammable like photo booths. And so like people who are like big Shah Rukh fans
Hmm.
are gonna come and
Makes sense.
hang out.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like there's not a lot of movies coming out that people are excited about. So why don't we get them excited about the movies that we used to watch
Hmm.
several years ago?
Yeah. I guess this can work for about a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I think
But I
after
think
that,
we
yeah,
basically like every couple of years you just kind of keep changing the movies. I mean,
makes sense.
like maybe in a couple of years people start missing the old Marvel movies, and you do a whole like summer of Marvel thing,
Right.
or you do it solely around like anime movies that never got aired in India, or like I know how like Payal Kapadia's recent movie All We Imagine as Light.
Oh.
Have you seen this? The
Bro, I'm
one.
as far from
Okay, okay.
non-commercial cinema as
Yeah,
one
yeah,
can
yeah,
be.
yeah. But like this was the movie that like India didn't send to the
Correct.
Oscars.
I know that. I know.
But so it released fairly late in India.
Hmm.
And like I mean maybe there was a chance that it didn't release in India at all.
Hmm.
So then you can have like these pop-up cinemas showing
Makes sense.
movies like this.
So I also had something on the on this thing, but like from a consumer point of view, I have a problem.
Okay.
Remember, I told you that I went for I started going more for these stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had booked Zakir Khan like
Okay.
2 months prior to whatever his date was,
Yeah.
and I forgot.
Oh.
And there's no reminder from whatever platform I booked. I will not name it. There was no nothing. It
Book
was
My
not.
Show?
Huh?
Was it Book My Show?
Yes, it was not
So
my
so
show.
use district.
This was like it was a
Use
Jewish
district.
doctor. So yeah, I mean, so Book My Show did not send any reminders. I don't have the app. I don't know. Maybe they get on the
I
app.
think you need to switch to district. They send or when you book a
It
ticket.
was not there on District though.
ठीक है,
Okay, so the problem is not that they did not send reminders, right? Like they did not even put it on calendar or whatever. But I mean, the problem is obviously one of those things.
हाँ.
But the bigger problem is I don't have time to book this thing,
Okay.
right? And it was booked because a friend of mine had time and he was like, I have figured out all the offers and
अच्छा,
whatnot.
okay.
But I'm like, I don't really care about the offer at this point in my life, right? But what I really care about is actually being able to go
Go.
and whatever. So I think there is a demand. There will be a demand for a service, which is going to be catered to like the upper class or whatever. But the service is essentially going to be like some guy who's like, hey, you pay me 15% for a membership with me, and let's say you also have a minimum spend criteria, uh, and then we will basically make sure that you get to have new experiences once or twice a month,
Okay.
right?
Cool.
And that thing is something I feel is missing, at least for me,
Yeah.
right? So a friend of mine told me that especially when you get married and all,
Yeah.
every 6 months you need to have a new experience. You might go for a travel, you might have kid or whatever, right? Like I mean, kid is a
It is a long experience.
But I mean, you get it, right?
Yeah.
Some new experience you need,
Yeah.
right? So, but how do I get it? Like my wife is, my wife works, I work, right? And we really don't get a lot of time to
Yeah.
sort of do.
I guess
this
like
thing.
how have you discovered your experiences, or is it just like दोस्त ने
It's
बताया
only
या
his
मतलब
friend, yeah. I mean, that's
Instagram पे नहीं तुम्हें आते ads
bro. Instagram, I don't
Zomaland.
use. I'm only on Twitter.
Yeah. X.
X. So, but I mean, okay, even if the ads are there, right? I
Yeah.
might get to know,
Yeah.
right? तब तक it gets sold out and whatnot. Right?
Fair.
if there's a service which keeps sending me like stuff, or I can just let them know that just book it for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
or even they can take care of reselling in the own network, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if that if a service can, let's say, buy 10 Coldplay tickets,
Yeah.
and be like, this is for our members,
Yeah.
whoever 10 first apply over in the service, right?
This might be how I get my first Naru booking, because otherwise,
Yeah, Naru booking, Pizza 4 Ps in
yeah.
Bangalore. I mean, I don't know in Delhi if there's a booking culture.
No, I mean, like we don't have these hype places
Makes
that
sense.
artificially restrict supply.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, for example, Naru booking
Yeah.
or whatever. I want to go to Naru. I can't I
Like
can't
forget.
decide,
Yeah.
let's say, 3 weeks in advance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go somewhere. I mean, how do I get that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they're like, Naru is like, you go and book it. I need somebody who can do that, right? And I'm ready to, let's say, pay 10% more or 15% more for this service. And I'm okay with like a minimum spend so that they at least make some money out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a service that I think a 23 to 25-year-old to 27-year-old as well, probably, who are in the know of things,
Yeah.
right? They can run this and sell it to oldies like me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like because like it doesn't seem very expensive to operate, because it's kind of more like a
It's a service, right? I mean,
services
there's no
business.
capex
Yeah.
required.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so there is one company that does it, and I had heard about it from Andrew Wilkinson in
Okay.
the My First Million pod. I forgot the name of it, but there the service basically took minimum spend of 60,000 US dollars.
$6,000?
Yes, it's
That's
for ultra rich, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
$60,000, and they
Yeah.
take like 15% cut.
So American Express has a concierge for their platinum cardholders in the
Concierge.
US.
Yeah.
But what they also do is like for like really big events, they'll have like really premium packages kind of like that are always available, even if like the thing is sold out. So like if the US
Makes
Open
sense.
is sold out, but like you want it, they'll get you a box. And you have to pay whatever that costs, but like you get to go.
Maybe I don't know because it's on Amex, but then Amex would not have Naru noodle bar.
No, they won't. Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, like, not the ultra rich. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
going to target Ambani with this,
Yeah.
right?
But isn't this like this? Is this what like Swiggy was doing with their rare? Did you see that? They were doing like a 20,000.
I know Manan is probably trying to do something
हाँ.
similar.
But Swiggy भी कुछ कर रहा है ना?
I don't know about that.
अरे ठीक है.
You would know.
I would not
Swiggy
know.
is not my portfolio company. Sorry.
I don't. तो क्या तुमने IPO नहीं अप्लाई किया?
नहीं.
अच्छा.
I have Zomato. Why will I?
Yeah.
I ordered from Blinkit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Blinkit.
Hashtag
bro.
this is not a sponsored post.
I'm a Blinkit bro.
Okay. Okay. Speaking about Blinkit bros,
Yeah.
have you seen how BPNL been their build in public?
Yeah. I don't know if you would qualify that as building in public, though. It's more of he keeps announcing things in public
I
and
feel like
takes
that's-
feedback.
I feel like that's the way you build in public. I feel like if you're too honest, then you can go.
Yeah, so I think one thing that I know for sure is any company that can get big, or most of the companies basically, they have to have some sort of arbitrage
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're exploiting.
Yeah.
Right? And if they like give away that arbitrage, they can't exploit it anymore because the competition will basically make that zero. So there will be some level of secrecy that has to be involved in any sort of company to sort of grow big.
Plus, I think like especially when you're talking about yourself publicly, like the narrative and momentum of your company is super important. And I think sometimes if you're like too open about the negative stuff, because every business is hard and like you're gonna go through ups and downs and ups and downs. If you post too much negative stuff online, I think investors might not think the highest of companies.
So how I see it
Yeah.
is like, let's say you have some commodity stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And everyone has that thing. Let's say you virtually don't have an edge.
So
Right.
certain suitcase.
Yeah. Correct. So I mean, in that case, right? Like if you do it publicly,
Yeah.
at least you get some edge, some mind share. Maybe that becomes a way to sort of do it. But then I think one thing for sure that is there is, if you're going to build in public, and if building in public is a marketing channel for you, I don't think B2C is like the place to be then. B2B, for example, works very well. And I have my myself as an example. I don't really build in public, but I'm still very public
Yeah, but don't you think there's also like a double-edged sword
in.
of building in public? Like, I don't know if you remember where I used to work.
So for context,
Yeah, yeah.
Anmol used to work at Fast, which went down really fast.
I did not go down very fast. There was a one-click checkout company that was the internet's darling for a long period of time,
Correct.
and the founder Dom was very well known
Yeah. For two
for
years.
building in public.
Yeah.
But like that also brought it a lot of infamy when the company eventually did not work
Yep.
out.
Yep. I mean, see, I don't think it was building in public that really got them down, right?
No,
Like,
it didn't. But I think like if a company of a similar stage that wasn't building in public failed, they wouldn't have gotten so much hate. And like I think maybe some of the hate to Dom and Fast was like
justified.
unjustified
Unjustified. Okay.
because like I mean businesses are hard. Like you
Yeah.
have companies that fail all the time. But like building in public like attracts those
But did
eyeballs on
they?
you.
Okay, my question is, were they doing any fraud?
I had left the company for several
You
years.
don't
Not
know.
that I am aware of.
Okay. So
Um,
if they were not doing, let's say, any sort of fraud,
yeah.
right? I mean, then it's not really. I wouldn't blame the guy.
Well, you did like very loud on Twitter, and I think people were like love dunking on
I mean,
someone.
people dunk on Brian Johnson.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
technically, Brian Johnson is building in public,
Yeah, fair.
right?
Yeah,
But people love to dunk on him.
yeah.
Because, but then I think what they understand is that dunking also gets them
Engagement.
reach,
Yeah.
engagement,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? And it helps them in their mission. But I think a random person will not be able to sort of build in public and leverage that for a B2C company, because you need to have like a huge reach to be able to sell something for the price point that which
Yeah,
general
yeah.
B2C sells.
Yeah.
But for a B2B company like mine,
Yeah.
a lot of people I'm able to reach. I don't need to reach a lot of people, right? I mean, I need to get like 2 customers a month max, right? And that I'm able to do with the 30 days of posting, whatever. And they sort of reach out to me because they have seen me there, like doing things, whatever, public, private.
Yeah.
Because I've been in their face so many times. Like there's some level of trust that has uh, built up,
Yeah.
right?
But don't you think like it works for like consumer companies or like not on X because X is a fairly small platform.
But where else are people building in public?
Like I'd say like founder led marketing on Instagram is on the same.
But then their founder-led marketing is again, it's not. They're not really sharing the secret. They are just the
Yeah.
founder is the face.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say like this barbershop thing, the Shantanu?
I have not watched it enough to talk about it.
But would you say that is building in public because he's really talking to other people?
That's not. But like
That's just marketing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're just.
But like for example, like the whole truth food, the whole truth guy.
I think their product wants to build that trust.
Yeah.
I
But
think
he talks about like, oh, we get all these things tested, and he makes videos around
I mean,
that.
same thing you can say for Fredo, right? Like
Yeah,
Fredo is pretty out there on Twitter at
Yeah,
least.
but I think like Twitter is too small of a.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they get out of it,
Yeah.
but I think they then run ads with the tweets
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram, and then they make, I think, sales from that.
Yeah.
I guess that works. But I would say that it is a specific sort of a tool in your arsenal, which might not be needed for everything. You can't like take knife in a gunfight,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example.
Well, like, what do you say? Nikita is building in public by launching Explode, or is that just to get the
He's
fanboys?
dunking in public for sure.
Is he just to get the
He's dunking
hype,
on Snapchat for sure.
the fanboys hyped for his new product?
Yeah, you could say that. But then I think the people who are going to use the product are not the people
No,
who are
yeah, on
getting
Twitter,
hyped.
yeah,
So
yeah.
not really sure if he gets anything out of that.
Fair.
But what he really does get out of being public about it is the intro.co things and the consulting and whatnot, right? Like I know Unacademy sort of consulted with Nikita. There are a bunch of other people who would have consulted because he has that profile on Twitter,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's always constantly talking about it.
Yeah.
Again, that's a B2B use case. It's not a B2C use
Fair,
case.
fair.
So I feel like building in public is more of a B2B thing which actually where you can actually leverage it, at least on the smaller scale.
Yeah.
Maybe on the larger scale, I don't know. Is Kim Kardashian building in public? We don't know.
But I guess like what are some good like companies in India who do a good job of building in public?
I think this Fredo was doing a good
This
job,
is
but
B2C
then
now?
that's B2C. There are a bunch of indie hackers who do a good job.
Okay.
So there was this Feather, I guess, Feather.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
the one that sold,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
They
guy who
were,
runs Site GPT.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're building
Yes.
RAG as a service.
Yes.
So they are, I think that person is doing a good job.
Yeah.
There are a couple of others definitely out there that are doing a good job. Um, but I mean, that's like a very limited set.
Yeah. I
But
guess who in the US do you think does the best job at?
Levels? Oh, Levels is not in US though.
Yeah. Or internationally, like
Internationally,
globally.
Levels, I would say.
Okay.
Then in Singapore, there's this guy, Fun Min Fuck PHUC is, I think.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce
yeah,
it. I don't want to butcher
Yeah, yeah.
butcher up
Well, I
that
guess there's
name.
also that AI consulting guy, Jason Liu.
Jason
Yeah.
Liu.
Yeah.
Jason Liu is also doing good. But more than public, I think his conversion and all happens on the email list,
ठीक
is
है,
what I understand.
ठीक है.
The Jason is obviously there. Then there's this guy called John Yongfook.
Okay.
He's building Banner Bear.
Oh, okay.
You know
Yeah,
Banner
yeah,
Bear?
yeah,
He
yeah.
has now a suite of tools, and
Oh,
he
shit.
he calls them zoo tools
Okay.
because everything has like Banner Bear is there. There's a
Yeah.
cat something, and there's
Okay,
a
okay.
dolphin
Oh,
something. I mean,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
he's like built them
I don't
under
know.
a umbrella of a zoo.
Interesting.
So I mean that guy is doing
Yeah.
used to do pretty good stuff. So I mean there are people in pockets. Buffer used to be pretty big doing things in public. I guess but they went like little too transparent. They started publishing things
Okay,
like
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one-on-ones and salaries of people.
Yeah. This is the whole like open.
Open startups? Yeah,
Yeah.
open startups.
Yeah.
Bare Metrics used to be a product which
Yes.
had that open.
Yeah, yeah. The revenue numbers are all
Correct.
public.
They also sort of stopped it. So, I mean, yeah, there are like companies like that that have been doing products like that actually.
Yeah. But so your hot take is that
My hot,
building public is better for B2B companies and
yeah,
might not work for B2C companies.
I don't think it's even a hot take,
Okay.
but yeah, it will not. It's very hard to sort of pull it off for B2C versus B2B because let's say you can get like 10 customers, right? For a 500 rupee thing, it's
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
पाँच
yeah,
हजार,
yeah,
right? But for a 50,000 rupee thing, it's like
But अगर हम
2.5
मतलब
lakhs.
10,000 का प्रोडक्ट बेच रहे हैं
बेचो. I think if you're selling Tesla,
ठीक है.
then you build in public. You know,
This is why Elon acquired X.
actually Elon is building in public.
Yeah, Elon is building.
So
Oh,
for whoever says that
yeah.
building in public is probably not the right way to go, like we have a big counterpoint
Yeah,
there. He bought Twitter in public, bro.
Oh.
He bought Twitter on Twitter
Yeah,
itself.
that is true. That is true.
So I mean, yeah, those things are obviously there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
So speaking of Nikita, did you try Explode?
I'm too poor to own an
So were
iPhone.
you not talking about just 10 minutes ago? I am too rich to be planning events and experiences.
Okay, so
So I want a concierge service.
yeah. I mean, I'm a
How
millennial,
much did your
bro.
TV?
I'm a millennial, bro. I spend on experiences, not
Okay,
on
okay.
on shit.
Things.
Things. Yeah, I don't spend on things. I spend on
Okay, fair,
experiences.
fair.
But I mean, I've been a developer, Android developer. So
Okay.
yeah. Did you try it out?
No, I didn't work on. The onboarding didn't work for me. I tried with my US number, I tried with my India number, I tried
You're
with my
saying
other US
onboarding
number.
did not work for you. The only thing that people are talking
I
about.
know, I was very surprised. Like maybe it detected that I was physically in India and they want to restrict the app to the US. And they.
But you had a US number though.
Yeah, but I think they may be doing some like IP based detection and being like, oh, we don't want people outside the US to use the app because it's gonna impact our K factor or some shit. Like it would not surprise me if they did something like that. Because if I'm in India, there are fewer people with US numbers on the US App Store that I am
I think more
likely
than
to-
that, if you're in India, there are fewer iOS users.
Yeah, that also.
I tried using it on my iPad, but
Did it work?
no.
Okay.
Uh,
Did the onboarding work?
I think it was not there only the app. I
Acha,
couldn't find the
okay.
app.
Oh yeah, it's only available on the US App Store.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have the
Yeah.
India App Store as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So maybe
So I was
that's
able to
why.
download it, but not able to
Got it.
use. But do you
So
think he's trying to get it acquired by Snapchat, or is it just a meme, or what do you think of like these kind of like there seems
this
to
is
be a lot of
performance art.
yeah
This is
yeah yeah
performance art in my opinion. I don't know if he can get acquired. I don't know if he gets acquired, he will get acquired not for the product, but
yeah.
for the
But
team,
I
but
don't
for
think
the brains.
he maybe he doesn't even need to get acquired. Maybe he makes like $1 million in like 10 days and then shuts the company down and
That will be a
does it
great.
all again.
Yep. Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think I had heard somewhere that his original aim with the gas app was to make $10 million in 3 months, and he was just focused entirely on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
He might have something similar here,
yeah,
and he might focus something
yeah,
on that, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Who knows?
Should get his intro.com booking and
Dot co. Yeah, yeah.
spend money
Intro is like basically top mate for
for
non-Indians,
rich people.
for rich people. Okay,
uh,
but yeah,
ठीक है और कुछ
cool.
बात करनी है
I think
एजेंडा में क्या है
that's our time.
ठीक है
That's all we booked it for.
ठीक है
चलो man.
चलो
See ya.
see you